I want to talk about organizing Go code in packages. But first, I want to apologize a little bit. Uh, when I started this project, I started in one repo. It was called routing, because I was experimenting with Go routing and trying some multiplexers. And I started to add a database and add a little bit here, a little bit there. Eventually, it became this CRUD app, and that's when I migrated to this repo here, which is Magic Soup. But strangely, my imports were wrong. They were all still router, right? And it should be Magic Soup, right? To be honest, I thought that Video Studio Code would fix these imports, but it didn't. So I apologize. So on the previous videos, if this here says a router, you just not consider. I'm gonna make I'm gonna push this to GitHub with this correction, right? So packages. Here in my main file, you can see that we have a package declaration, which is package main, right? And I have a function main here, which is our entry point to the project. But the cool thing is, and I love this feature in Go, is that you can have as many packages as you want. So here, remembering that this is like a very simple MVC style program, I have a controller package, right, which is, it's a directory, you can see, and I have this file which is add new soup, for example, right? So everything, all function declarations, all variables declarations here, they are available in all of these 4 other files that are also from package controller, right? So I could say I'm in user login, right? I could say var name is a string, right? I can say that, no problem. If I go to this other file here, which is also in package controller, I have access to name. Name is Michael. Okay, no problem with this. All right. So you can think about it as if you were in the same file, right? So as in the same file, you would have access to the variables and functions, right? And you can think about it this way, but you can still organize your code in small bits. You can still have perhaps, maybe 1 or 2 functions for every file. So I think this is a great feature. Nonetheless, there are times you want to export, whether it's a file or a variable, right? And that is when you want to go cross packages. And for this to be feasible, you have to start the name of the variable with a capital letter. All right. So for example, in my main package here, right, on my handler functions, I import from package controller, right? I import, for example, get all soups, right? Or I also import, let's see here, delete session, right? So let's stay with this for a moment. So I go to package controller and get all soups.go. I have one function called get all soups, right? And it receives no parameter and returns a slice of soups, right? And you can see here, it's a function, right? It receives no parameters. It returns a slice of soups and an error. And soups, you can see here, I'm importing the packaged model, right? So in package model soup.go, I have, as you see, package model. I have a struct for soup, okay? So I'm importing this, so it needs to necessarily start with a capital letter, and you can see all the fields here we have are capitalized, and this is why on BSON or JSON we have to uh, put this because it normally doesn't use capital letters, right? So I'm exporting this to another package. I'm importing it here, right? Model.soup. And I'm exporting this function, get all soups, and I'm importing it here on my index handler function, right? So it's controller get all soups. So this is a great way to organize your code. You can think of it, you write less imports if you compare it to JavaScript, for example, that you have to write a lot of imports. Whenever you want to import something from a file to another file, you have to export it and import it, and to be honest, that's sometimes a little tedious. And this is is an easier way to have namespacing and to have availability. Thank you.